I first wanted to share with you some things because I do notice that a lot of things that hold us back as women, but not just as women, as entrepreneurs, as in every area in our life, is fear. And that could be fear of the unknown. It can be fear of failure. It could actually be fear of success. And so, believe it or not, success actually scares a lot of people because they think, if I have success, will I be able to maintain that? Will I be able to live up to that? And a lot of people shy away from it because it scares them to be successful. And so I want to share a little bit about victory over success, or victory over fear today. How many of you, just put in the chat if that's something that you deal with and that you need to conquer today? Just fear of whatever, because I'll be the first to raise my hand. I have to overcome and conquer that on a regular basis in my life. And so let's talk about that, because I want to get really real today. I want to start with a personal confession, okay? Because I want you to know that my pursuit of perfection has left me empty most of my life. And if you are searching out and you are striving for perfection, you are going to be disappointed the majority of your life, because life is not about perfection. It's about pursuit. And so that's a very different thing. And so what am I pursuing in life? I am pursuing, as I mentioned before, in my faith, I'm pursuing to be, closer in my relationship with God. I'm pursuing to be a better wife. I'm pursuing to be a great mom, a great Gigi, a great entrepreneur, a great, whatever. Now, will I ever reach perfection? No. And I understand that, because that changes daily. And so what I am is I'm in pursuit of that. And I've learned that I wasn't created to be perfect. You weren't created to be perfect. You were created to be real and authentic. And that's what's going to draw people to you. That's what's going to draw. When I get up on stages, even when I speak, I have to realize that everyone out there, if they think that I'm perfect, if I hide everything in my life, now it doesn't mean I get up and just air all my dirty laundry. Nobody wants that, right? But they do want to know that I am a real person and that I deal with the same things that they deal with. It's just, I found a way to overcome. I found a way to conquer. I'm in pursuit of becoming. And so let's just be honest, real is messy. It's a messy place to be when you're real. And sometimes it just doesn't seem worth the effort, but it is so worth the effort, because people need us to be real in order to learn how to reach freedom. They need to see where we have walked and how we've overcome, because we're not called, like I said, to be perfect, just in pursuit. And I love what Helen Keller said. She had so much to overcome. She had to overcome things that we can't even imagine. But what she said was, although the world is full of suffering, it is also full of the overcoming of it. And so you may be walking through seasons of suffering, but let me tell you something, you are full of overcoming. And so you just need to be able to do that. We have the answer to someone else's suffering. We have the answer to how to overcome in certain areas of our life. And for some of you, you've been holding back and you've been having this escape plan. You've been having this plan B. You've been having this, well, if this doesn't work out, I can always go do this. And some of you need to burn the ships today. You just need to burn the ships. And you need to say, this is what I've been called to do. This is what I'm going to give my efforts to. This is what I'm going to give my purpose to. And so that's what I mean by burning the ships. Quit looking for an exit strategy and put everything you have into what has been placed in your hands. And so do it with everything inside of you, because some of us, let's just be honest. I was on the Peloton bike the other day, and the instructor made this statement. She said, I am engaging in a should detox. And I went, what? And it hit me. I need a should detox. I'm talking to myself. So if it seems a little harsh, just look at me pointing right at myself. And she said, you need a should detox. I should be getting up earlier in the morning. I should be drinking more water. I should be making more conversations. I should check on that family member. I should be eating healthier. I should be working out every day. You know what? Stop with the shoulds, because shoulda, coulda, woulda, didn't. Nothing ever came from it. And so instead of should, change your mindset. And how about you change that should today on here to a I can. I can get up earlier in the morning. I can drink more water. I can add some healthy motion into my life. I can do my hundreds list. I can start more conversations. But then after you change it to a can, change it to an I will, because you can all day long, but that doesn't mean you're gonna. So change it to I will. I will get up earlier tomorrow morning. I will drink more water. I will start a healthy motion in my life. I will start more conversations. I will reach out to that family member. And then after you say, I will, throw a because on the end of it, because that's your why. I will drink more water because my body operates better when I'm hydrated. I will start more conversations because if I want my business to grow, it's up to me. I will reach out to my family member because I am called to be life to other people. So I will, and throw a because on the end of it. And because you will say to yourself, because my why is bigger than my excuses today. That's how you have to think, because you've heard me say it a million times. I'm learning to love the sound of my feet, walking away from those things that don't serve my future. But for many of you, you may think, well, I woke up one morning and went, hey, I'm just going to walk away from the things that don't serve my future. No, it was a process. It was a mind shift. And that mind shift didn't happen overnight. It happens by making daily, conscious, consistent changes in my mind, in my thoughts, in my action, in my heart, in the things that I allow in my life every single day, and cleaning out the junk that holds me back, because I'm learning that it takes courage to be great. It takes courage, because very rarely do we become who we were created to be without having a fight to become the woman that we're called to be. It doesn't just happen overnight. And if you're waiting, ladies, hear me on this. If you're waiting on some feeling or an adrenaline rush or someone else to push you in order to become great, you're going to be waiting a long time, because it has to happen in here and it has to happen in here. So here's what I challenge you with today. Grab hold of your dreams and your desires to be all God intended you to be, and put the effort into it, because it's not going to happen in a day. Can I tell you, it's not going to happen in a week, probably. It may not even happen in a month. But are you going to give up right on the verge of your miracle? Are you going to give up right on the verge of your breakthrough? Are you going to push through? Are you going to take the same exit ramp that you always do when things get difficult? Or are you going to keep going until you reach your destination? See, there's a process that takes place that you say, I'm not going to quit where I always quit. But that means leaving fear behind and stepping into your destiny, because here's what Pat and I are learning, that we are being pulled out of yesterday's mindsets, all the while being drugged through our today in order to step into our tomorrow. It's a process. And here are 5 things that you have got to stop doing right now in order to start that process in your life. Number 1, write these down. Quit worrying about what everybody else thinks and trying to please everyone. Can I tell you something? There was an awakening that took place in me when one morning I woke up and I realized all the things I thought people were thinking about me, they weren't thinking about me at all. And I was wasting a whole lot of time thinking about their thoughts they were not having. Does that make sense? And so I had to realize I have to do what's best for my family. I have to do what's best for me. And if I'm walking in integrity and purpose and compassion, then that's all that matters. See, we have to realize that things are not always just about what other people think. Number 2, quit living in your past failures. Your past failures do not dictate today's victories. You're never going to accomplish anything by looking in the rearview mirror. You've got to look forward. And if you made mistakes in your past, if things failed, if things you tried before, businesses, maybe ventures that you tried before, if they failed, so what? Leave them in the back. Just start something new and have a purpose today. Number 3, quit demeaning and criticizing yourself. Quit demeaning and criticizing yourself. Because you know what? If you wouldn't say the things that you say to yourself, to your children, to your grandchildren, to the people you love the most, stop saying them to yourself. because they are watching you. I don't want my daughter to speak harshly to herself. I want her to have a positive attitude, but she will literally duplicate what I do in my life. So stop demeaning and criticizing yourself. Quit comparing yourself to everybody else. Number 4, quit walking in fear of the what ifs. What if I fail? What if I don't do well? What if this doesn't work out? Well, can I say something? What if it does? What if you succeed? What if you excel? What if you find your gifting that you never knew you had? What if you surround yourself with a community of like-minded people who push you, encourage you, and spur you on to greatness? So change the narrative. Number 5, quit overthinking everything. Oh my goodness, I am the epitome of the overthinker. Something tiny can happen, and by the time I have ran every scenario in my mind, the whole world is crashing around me. And then I wake up out of my overthinking and go, oh, well, that really wasn't so bad after a while, but I've wasted 3 hours worrying about what could have happened. So quit overthinking, because you can't, this is what C.S. Lewis said, you can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending. So let's deal with fear really quick, and then I'm going to move on to the next speaker, because let's deal with going beyond fear. Because here's what I've learned. When I was diagnosed with leukemia several years ago, and then God radically healed me, completely changed my DNA. I do not have leukemia. I'm completely cancer-free, but I had leukemia. And so here's what I learned one morning when I woke up and I was overcome with fear. I was overcome with anxiety. And I went into prayer, and God spoke to me, and he said, Karen, I've given you weapons to overcome this fear. And he took me to 2 Timothy 1:7. And for those of you who were raised in church and all of those things, you understand that's something we learned in Sunday school, we learned in children's church, all about breaking fear. But here's what I've learned. Fear is a learned or perceived aberration or hallucination that grows into an absolute in your life. You allow it to grow into your life. Fear is not the absence of courage. In fact, fear is the embryo of courage. Fear is courage waiting to be awakened in your life. So if you're sitting back thinking you're a failure, you're weak, all of those because fear has come against you, then I need you to think again. Because if the enemy has brought fear into your life, it is an opportunity for you to crush it, overcome, and conquer it in your life, and to become the hero of your story. So, and to be a hero to your children. Because 2 Timothy 1:7 says, God has not given you a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. And that morning I read that, I thought, God, how are those weapons? Okay, how is that going to help me defeat fear? But what we have to understand is that Paul, the Apostle Paul, wrote this scripture during a time when Christians were being persecuted in such a horrendous and torturous way, much like today, but don't get me off on that. So, but they were being tortured, and because of that cruelness that they were experiencing, they were shrinking back and giving up what they knew to be true. And here's what I want you to know. When you allow that fear to grow in your life, you relinquish your dreams when that happens, and you shrink back. And I need you not to shrink back, but I need you to charge into the battle and to overcome and conquer, because the Bible tells us that He's given us 3 weapons. See, we live in Texas, okay? Everybody's carrying a gun around in Texas, so we have an arsenal. So, I mean, I get it. If somebody comes into my house, we had somebody accidentally set off our alarm while I was home one day, one of the workers in the yard, and I literally called him on the phone and I said, unless you want me to walk out with a gun and face you with a gun, next time you need to let me know you're coming over. So I think I scared him half to death, and he literally won't come over now without giving us a call. But I needed him to know I'm not afraid to come out and defend the property. Okay. So, but I need you to understand that these are weapons, and God says, I've given these weapons. So he had me look them up and research them. And that word power is translated into dunamis, which means dynamite, which that's self-explanatory. But if you go on and study that word, it literally says it's the ability to see and walk in miraculous signs and wonders, the ability to direct or influence the behavior of others or the course of events. It's literally, ladies, the ability to change the atmosphere. So if you're not happy with where you're at in your business, if you're not happy with where you are in your family, if you're not happy with where you are emotionally, physically, all of those things, then get up this morning and change the atmosphere in your house by taking the steps to change it. Invest in yourself, invest in your family, invest in your business, change the atmosphere today. So the second thing is love. And the word tells us that perfect love casts out fear. And it also goes on to say in 1 Corinthians 13 that love is patient, it's kind, it's not self-seeking, it's not easily angered, it forgives, rejoices in truth, always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. So that is a weapon, because it's literally the only word in the Bible that has a definition. And it gives us a definition because it is the very characteristics of God. And so he gives us his characteristics to overcome fear, because we can hope, we can protect, we can trust, we can persevere through anything. And the third thing is a sound mind. I don't know about you, but every day I wake up, I need a sound mind. I need a mind that is free of the clutter. And that word literally means a mind that has been delivered, rescued, revived, salvaged, protected, brought into a place of safety and security so that it's no longer affected by illogical, unfounded, and absurd thoughts. So when you get up in the morning and you think, I'm going to fail, when you get up in the morning and you think, I can't do this, when you get up in the morning and you think, these people are better than me, I can't talk to that person, you know what? Open the back door of your brain and let it out, because those are illogical, absurd, and unfounded thoughts. So who are you to say that you are not capable? Give yourself a chance, believe in yourself, and go for it, because the enemy knows your potential, which is why he tries so hard to keep you in fear. And what a shame it is that he believes more in your potential than you do. You need to start believing, because here's what I'm going to end it with, because you can't afford to quit. When you take inventory of all those people, your children, your spouse, your friends, your relatives, those who are looking to you for permission to excel, overcome, and succeed. What fear are you willing to overcome today and conquer in your life to help the ones watching you and looking to you for a model of freedom, success, and fulfillment? So here's the ending today. So rather than walking in fear of the unknown or fear of failure or comparing yourself to everyone else around you, why you aren't where they are, why you aren't where you want to be, determine today, just like I said, break the should, and determine today, I will attract what I expect. I will reflect what I desire. I will become what I respect, and I will mirror what I admire. And so here's what I'm going to say: break the should cycle today and just do it afraid. So I hope that spoke to someone today, and we're going to break the should factor and we're going to move on.